Once upon a time, in a serene little village surrounded by lush green fields and towering trees, there lived a milkman named Arjun. He was well liked by the villagers for his warm smile and punctuality in delivering fresh milk every morning. However, Arjun had one major flaw: he was consumed by greed. Each day, Arjun would dilute the milk with just a little water before selling it. "Just a splash of water won't harm anyone," he would reassure himself, while relishing the extra profit. At first it was only a small amount, but as days turned into weeks, his boldness grew. He began adding more and more water, increasing his earnings alongside his insatiable greed. One evening, Arjun sat in his modest home, counting the money he had made that week. "This is the easiest way to make more," he chuckled to himself. "Who needs honesty when greed pays better?" His heart swelled with joy, yet he remained blind to the consequences of his actions. One day, the village priest announced a grand festival at the temple. "Everyone must bring an offering: fruits, sweets, or milk," he declared. "Let it be pure and from the heart." Hearing this, Arjun saw another opportunity to deceive. "Why should I give pure milk? No one will notice," he thought smugly. On the day of the festival, villagers gathered to pour their offerings into a large communal tank at the temple. The milk was intended to be shared as prasad after the prayers. True to his ways, Arjun brought his diluted concoction, mostly water, and poured it into the tank. Just before the prayer commenced, the priest addressed the crowd. "Today let us do something different. Let's test the purity of our offerings. If our hearts are pure, so will our milk be." The villagers nodded in agreement. The priest then invited a wise old man from a nearby town, who possessed a device to test milk quality. As the milk from the tank was tested, the device emitted a loud beep. "Something is wrong," the old man announced. "This milk contains more water than milk." A wave of shock rippled through the crowd. Whispers erupted as people wondered who could have committed such dishonesty. The priest looked deeply saddened. "This milk was meant to be offered to the gods, and someone has rendered it impure," he lamented. Arjun stood frozen, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. He tried to avoid eye contact, but his guilt was palpable. Suddenly a child shouted, "Look! There's a trail of watery milk leading straight to Arjun's pot." All eyes turned to him. The truth was undeniable. Arjun stood there paralyzed, as the weight of his deceit crushed him. "I'm sorry," he stammered, his voice trembling. "I thought I was clever enough to cheat and still gain respect. But I was wrong." The priest approached him, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Arjun, greed may fill your pockets, but it robs you of something far more precious: trust and respect." Tears streamed down Arjun's cheeks as he finally understood what he had lost. From that day forward, Arjun transformed. He stopped diluting the milk and began delivering pure, fresh milk. At first, the villagers were skeptical, but over time they noticed the difference. Slowly, his customers returned and trust started to rebuild. Though Arjun no longer earned as much as he once did, he found peace within himself. He slept better, laughed more, and regained the respect of the community, not because of his wealth but due to his newfound honesty. Years later, Arjun became the head of the village's milk cooperative. He taught young milkmen the importance of integrity and the value of trust. Yet, what Arjun never realized was that the priest had suspected him all along. The milk testing wasn't random. The priest knew the truth and gave Arjun a chance to change. After all, sometimes the greatest punishment comes not from others, but from one's own conscience. Moral of the story: greed may offer temporary gain, but honesty builds a life of lasting respect.